it's okay to be still right now, because otherwise you just turn this nightmare into an unprecedented nightmare for your mind. So let's give ourselves time and space to just be.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Lil. How are you?
Doing funny that we're accidentally wearing the same sweater.
Funny thing.
It is funny. We didn't plan that. But anyway, so thank you all for tuning in to our new episode of our What's Underneath Project love stream. For those of you that don't know, we're Elisa and Lillian. We're the mother-daughter co-founders and creators of StyleLikeU, of this YouTube channel and of the What's Underneath Project video series. The What's Underneath Project is a series where we interview really incredible role models of all different backgrounds and body types and ages and races and all of that. And as we're interviewing them, they're slowly undressing until they're in their underwear as a symbol and a metaphor for claiming self-acceptance and showing that real beauty and style is about being comfortable in your skin, and it's not about any one limited ideal of beauty, and it's not about conforming to fit into a norm that's outside of yourself. It's about being yourself, owning who you are, and letting that shine through. The person that we're about to interview is someone who submitted herself as part of our open call a few weeks ago. And Mom, do you want to share a little bit about who we're about to interview?
Yes. So I'm actually feeling a little bit, I mean, it's emotional. This is all very emotional. And it's emotional because Lily and I have, love what we're doing so much. And it's just been extra emotional in this really intense moment to be able to connect to others who feel equally as emotional about this, who have been following this, and then felt the urge to and had the bravery to submit themselves and to be subjects themselves. And Maria Giulia Martinez is one of those people. She is who we're introducing you to. She is in Sicily. And it's super emotional because we have just been trying so hard to figure out ways to actually be able to connect with all of these beautiful humans. And here we are. This moment has brought us something, just absolutely spectacular. That's a whole nother topic. But anyway, Maria is, just can't wait to dive in. That's all I can say. And that's how I love to feel. So let's do it.
So hi, Maria.
Hi.
How are you?
Beautiful. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm nervous but excited. Nervous in a good way.
Why nervous?
Yeah, why nervous?
Because somehow questions will be made, of course, and I'm always afraid of not being at the level of other people answering the questions you're going to ask, and that's it. But anyways.
And what inspired you to want to submit yourself to be part of this?
Actually, I just been following you for many years, and I've always been so fascinated by the interviews you've made to so different human beings, like so refreshing. And again, like in this period of time of self-quarantine, it's much more of a therapy for all of us to sort of escape the tragedy and the loneliness of this time. So it's just a breath of fresh air, I think. also engaging in different kinds of conversation and more profound thoughts. I think it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Can we hear just a little bit about what you've been going through when you say loneliness and when you say tragedy? Can we hear a little bit about those feelings?
Well, as you might know, of course, now the entire world, but Italy was one of the first country after China to be attacked by this virus. And so I have many close friends of mine who've been attacked by COVID-19 and, living with the fear and also self-isolating now for 2 months. It's really taking a toll in mental health. And I think we're gonna be talk about it a lot. So yeah, I don't know where to start.
No, that's okay. Good enough.
We'll get back into it, right?
Yeah, we'll get back into it.
So before we ask the next question, do you mind taking off your first thing, maybe your jacket?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what your style says about you?
So I've been thinking a lot about this question. I think my style says about me the communities, the people that I've been living with, and the places I've been navigating and willing to navigate, and the fact that I've always felt like in a third space, if I can say that, like to feel like I come from neither a place nor another. And I think in these years I've carved in my body and in the way I dress my style. I've embraced it kind of naturally, actually. I just happened, and the style is my life. My style is, yeah, it's hard to explain.
Can you give a little more details of what you mean by the different experiences that you've had, where you've lived, why you don't feel like you belong to one place or the other?
I was born in Rome, and then I moved to Syria to live there, and I grew up there for 4 years, actually, for my 4 years, first ones, yeah. Then I moved to Africa, to Northeast Africa, in Eritrea, which is near the Red Sea. And because many people ask me where does Eritrea is, and it's a small country, it's a beautiful country. And then I lived there 4 years, then went back to Italy, and then I got to travel a lot in Middle East and North Africa, and moved back to Sicily 6 years ago because I didn't grow up here, but my parents are Sicilian. So I just decided to give it a try.
Can you take off maybe the necklace, the orange necklace?
Yeah, of course.
Is that amber?
Amber.
Yeah, it's amber. This was my grandmother's. I never met her actually because she died when my mother was young, but I just keep it with me.
Can you talk a little bit about the assumptions that you think people make about you based on how you look?
Well, I've been called so many things, from looking like a gypsy to being weird to looking like a homeless person. I don't know, because I can talk for the Italian standard. Of course, I look some sort of hippie I don't know what human being. My parents put me in a Catholic school, so I was coming from Eritrea, and I had full braids on my head, and like so colorful. And what happened is just I tried to conform, to find some friends, because everybody wore cliche high-end fashion, and everybody had their iPhone and Louis Vuitton. And so I just was dying to enter in some sort of group or being accepted. So what I did is follow the lead of a group which was very toxic, and I started going to the gym because I thought I was fat, and I lost 22 pounds. It was terrible until I decided actually that I just told this girl, which was the how do you say, the leader of the group. I just
Queen bee.
Yeah, I told her like I'm not willing to be um, your sheep anymore, you know. And I just went for my by myself, and that was the moment I remember I just changed, because my body could not handle that situation. I was a different person without soul and identity, and I felt really, really sick, even if I had come to have a body which is normatively uh, fine, I guess, if you can say so in English. I was thin, I wore skinny jeans and blah blah blah, which I never turned to war anymore. It was not my thing, and here I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Take off.
yeah, take something off. You say that you changed when you kind of broke up with the queen bee. What do you mean?
What do I? What? Well, actually, they started, of course, not to consider me, and I was literally alone for 3 months, like having no friends, because if you don't belong to a group, to a certain group, just people will pretend you don't exist. And that's what happens also in real life besides school. But you learn, you learn, and you just laugh at them, because you feel really free, and you see them, and you wish them to liberate themselves, from the ideas they've been grown up with. And you see them suffering. I mean, it's just so easy to restrain yourself rather than thinking about the possibilities that you have to expand. It's so easy for yourself to follow the lead of some guidance of someone, because it's easier. You don't have to do much effort. You don't have to be creative and autonomous in a certain level, because your self-expression is just the copy of another, of a standard, of an emblem, of an unreachable supernatural version of yourself that is just duplicated and replicated thousands of times.
And something that we're that's being created outside of ourselves, so that we are enslaved to that standard.
Yeah,
It's not something that's coming from our souls. It's something that's coming from,
the industry.
right.
It's just a matter of stepping and give yourself some breath.
Permission.
Yeah. And permission, yeah, of course, of course. Because sometimes people work in some fields, live in certain places, and they feel, of course, not being free to express themselves, because otherwise they would lose jobs, opportunities, connections. So it's not like, yeah, different cases, different people, different situations. Yeah.
Right, but my feeling is that, my guess is, or my hope is that if we did it anyway, or little by little, or made like some different choices where we freed ourselves and gave ourselves breath, as you said, um, that sense of empowerment would maybe be the thing that's needed to change the system that's actually oppressing you. They're so pretty.
Actually, I love the stories of these necklaces, because these come from Syria, and I found it in a box with my name on it. It was a gift for me when I was 5 years old, and I just discovered it 3 years ago. So it was so emotional for me. It says like, for Giulia, and yeah, and it's a heart, I don't know if you can see that.
From who?
I don't know. It was a box with just a note for Giulia, Damascus, like through year 2000, and yeah. No, that's really powerful. I'm really close to these necklaces, because I feel like it's the way I keep in my heart the places where I've lived, and I should probably not be so attached by material things, but I should work on it. But it's on a good level. I mean, on a memory level.
Meaning, yeah.
And
Yeah,
why
meaning.
should you? Why should you not be?
Well, because if I lose one, or if I lose them, my heart would be crushing into million pieces, because I know I couldn't never regain the memories, the meaning, also the memories of these, like this necklace. I remember the day I had them in Eritrea, and it was, and it's not reproducible, if you can say so.
I feel that way about every single thing that I have. Is like my favorite thing. That's my joke with my husband. But I mean, it's a little bit like saying you shouldn't fall in love.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But
We have love. We can't avoid feelings. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but feelings for a person, and then you have feelings for things, and I think I don't know, I should probably don't care and just, but I would be so sad if I lose some of these.
The flip side of that, I know what you're saying. You're saying that you don't want to be attached because it's not, we can't be attached to anything. We don't own anything, like in the big sense of things. But the flip side of your approach has so much meaning and care and love in it. The flip side of that is like disposable fashion that has no meaning, that people are throwing away every 2 seconds. And
I'm searching for the exact opposite, in fact, I know this is one of a kind, I know these are one of a kind, I know this is one of a kind, but because I'm searching for that, oops. So this just fell.
yeah, put it back. It's okay.
And I'm searching for the stories, for the people and the memories.
Can you talk a little bit about like the biggest struggle that you're working on overcoming or that you have overcome in your life? Or that you feel
Okay.
right now? I don't know. Either way.
Well, the biggest struggle I'm overcoming right now is finding my path, really, and my autonomy, like physical autonomy, because I had a surgery, I had a very impactful surgery on my knee, like one year and a half ago. I'm still not able to do some normal stuff, like running. It's hard for me to run, or even I'm still living with my parents. I'm 24 years old. I live in Italy. It's not an excuse, but I've been delaying my time with the university for my knee problem, and because I didn't like what I study, let's be sincere. So it's a mix of that, and I sort of feel I have delayed my liberation and the way I could express myself through the stuff I would like to do. It's all, it's all a bit suspended. And even right now during this quarantine, it's even harder, to picture yourself in a position of development. So of course you feel sad and stuck because of yourself. Can I take this off?
Sure.
Because it's falling again. And yeah, so I'm actually struggling on a lot of things right now, but I'm also really happy that I'm I'm succeeding in the level of confidence and growth and self growth. um,
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I think I've become a more wise person when I'm moving here in Italy, in Europe, because I gave myself the time, the space, and the possibility to reorganize my thoughts, and realizing the important path and places and people I've been lucky to meet. Being lucky, realizing that makes you consider life and yourself in a different level, because I've been very lucky, and just accepting that, it's really beautiful.
What's an example of that luck? Give us like an exact example of what you're saying.
Well, I think immediately of the path of my friends, sisters, and best friend in Eritrea that escape poverty and escape dictatorship, because Eritrea has been the second world worst dictatorship after North Korea for many years. Exiting the country has been very, very hard for common people. Exiting the city where you live required a permission of a week in advance. You're constantly controlled, no university. And so for me to have a different kind of passport, nationality, it's a privilege. So I've been following the track of my friends that escaped via the Mediterranean, via the desert, and seeing what they're gone through. It's so amazing, and you feel this sense of responsibility and luck to be born in a different place of the world. And it's of course at the same time a burden for me, because I've always felt I didn't deserve that, which is also bad to think about, but when you have so many people that you care about struggling to even study, you know, to follow their basic needs. It's so heartbreaking, and I would cut half of my body to help them, and I don't know. It's, yeah, I'm thinking about it a lot. Yeah.
And does that contribute to your own, like when you say your own struggle with feeling stuck or like you're not moving fast enough? Do you feel like there's a pressure you put on yourself to make the most of like your privilege, and you're you're hard on yourself for that, or?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, of course, because, well, I can give an example without giving names, of course, but I have like my best friend from Eritrea just escaped without saying nothing in a tiny boat. She just got herself lost in Sudan, then went to the desert and blah blah blah. She just figure out a way to fly to United States, and she found a job there. She was able to pay a rent and work. Then she gained enough money to go to study what she loved, which was how do you say, aeronautics, the for pilots, yeah. And she became a pilot this year, and she lives in Malta. So, I mean, of course, it's not good to compare. I'm not comparing myself to her, but I'm seeing the enormous strength of hers and will to live, to improve, that we often lose because we live in the Western world in some sort of comforting reality and life. We don't even, which is okay, because you will never feel you're right or confident enough, or we set ourselves always higher standards, extraordinary like performances for ourselves. But I mean, stuff is real. I mean, I feel like I should act more and develop myself, not at the point of destructiveness, but yeah.
So is what you're saying that being confined in this moment, the confiningness of this moment, I don't think that's a word, but whatever,
Confinement
of this moment, you know, both really gives you pause to, you know, think and recognize like the strength of another person like that who hasn't had it as easy, and gives perspective on you know, how even like how much we take for granted, I guess. Is that what you're saying? Like that?
Yeah, but I felt that even before, you know. It's just a thought that I had all these years. um Actually, what confinement has taught me is also giving myself time, and of time to breathe, time to be vulnerable, you know, because life is so unpredictable, and it just went to another level of examination, of thought and examination, which we've just been reminded that our path as our building we are building as are just on the verge of disappearing one day to another, you know. So that's a great wake up call for us, and we are realizing we are not like invincible and the patrons of the world and of our destiny, you know. It just came to a different level of thoughts, and it's okay to be still right now, because otherwise you just turn this nightmare into an unprecedented nightmare for your mind. So let's give ourselves time and space to just be, eat, drink and sleep, you know. And I really feel that I'm saying that to myself now.
I can see with my own kids, Lily being one, and I have a son too, that there's been a certain quest or desire for more meaning in life, for something more, that like even just this obsession with nostalgia, this idea of going to a club that's like the 70s, like 70s music and 70s records on the wall, instead of actually experiencing your own authenticity, like actually
The present. Yeah.
the present, and really, and I think part of that is because there hasn't really been anything as defining as this right now.
Exactly. It's like we are living in a gap in which we want to take our stuff back, but we think at the future, at the after, So we are living in this in between moments that we are not considering as a set, as a moment. So we're just trying so hardly and so rapidly to escape, to exit, that we don't actually into brackets embrace this moment, which is very harsh and difficult and painful and depressing, but it's okay.
I don't think we can fully comprehend this moment.
But it's totally fine. It's totally normal, like in any sort of trauma. Let's not call it a trauma, but we could. But it's just like that. You just realize afterwards, and that's why it's important to keep on doing simple tasks and just live, and because it's okay to feel sad, to feel bad right now. Just you will appreciate the results of you overcoming this struggle afterwards. And yeah.
The kind of strength like your friend.
Can you talk a little bit more about like this period, like what you've experienced in this period, both like on a personal level with like being alone, but also just like with being in Italy, and what has it been like for you, and the pain that you've experienced, the tragedy, the pain, yeah.
Well, actually, I've been lucky because I live in the south, so the hot spot was in the northern Italy. So I had friends of mine who were stuck in northern Italy with parents and friends being at the hospitals for that. And of course, numbers of death rose, and now it's a little bit better. But we're flooded with informations, numbers, and nobody can exit their house, and police everywhere and checking what are you doing. And
are you able to like go on a run or anything like that?
No. But I think we will, like, in some days, because we've been acting good, if we can say so. I think we will start to be more free in some days. It's decisions come from above, so we just can. Every day starts to be equal to another, because days for me are actually running really fast, but I realize all I do is very little, and there are days in which I feel really bad about it, and there are other days in which I say it's okay, it's fine, it's also fine not to feel creative. Like I've been living 3 days in complete algae mode. Like I thought I was just sleeping. I had no strength to wake myself up physically. And yes, I'm thinking about all the people that live confined with so many people in one same apartment, which is really tough. I'm thinking about oppressive relationships and people for being forced to live in the same place. So I feel lucky, you know, because I am. But yeah, the situation has been really tragic here in Italy, but all over the world. So
Can you take off the tunic? Yeah. Is there a story with your tunic?
I actually bought this in Berlin from a lady that took it from Rajasthan, and it's hand embroidered, and I really loved it. She was actually going to store it because nobody would buy it. I just entered her small shop, and she told me, "Oh wow, I mean it's been months and nobody is interested in buying my stuff." Because in Berlin, I just went once. I don't want to generalize, of course. Sorry for the Berliners that will. I mean, they all dress in gray and black. I know it's fancy underground style, but
The world.
I remember.
The world is in
Well,
gray and black.
yeah, I just remembered. Of course, I wear this kind of clothes every day, and I remember I was the only one walking with some color. And when I saw a guy walking in the sideway, if you can say so, with some yellow socks, I just had to tell him, "I love your socks. I really love your socks." And yeah, I don't understand. I mean, it's totally fine. You should wear what you like, but yeah, world misses colors. Yeah.
Can you talk about a biggest insecurity that you have struggled with or overcome or are working on overcoming?
Body wise, uh, I think I should be honest. I struggled for so many years with the shape of my body because I always felt I was really flat in the upper part and bigger in my down part. I've been I talked a lot about it, and yeah, I just couldn't find ways to some kind of proportionize my body, and I also started not to wear jeans and pants because I felt uncomfortable. Seeing myself with pants, seeing the difference between the upper and the lower part, and because I really felt uncomfortable. Like I often dress, now you see me with pants, but I often dress with large dresses or skirts because I feel free. I feel really free to move. I'm a person who I use so many gestures as a good Italian I am, and I dance a lot while speaking, and I move a lot, so I feel really free wearing clothes that that actually follows my movement and give me space, give me space to breathe, because I feel like my body is stuck in this in these rails, if you can say so. And yeah, anyways, I've been struggling with that, and but I love it. But now I love it because once you realize you were born with this body and you live in it, what is the point of hating yourself if it's the place you are caring for all your life, you know? It's like self-harming. It's, yeah.
What helped you realize that?
Love. I'm not saying that because it sounds cool, but really I've been lucky to be loved by a man who really helped me to realize that what I am and how I am is beautiful. And also the consciousness. It's a matter of work, of self-work. And it's a constant evolution. Just talking about it right now, it's a step further, you know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
take something off.
I was gonna, but did you have something else?
Yeah.
Can you, take off your pants?
Okay, yeah. Shall I exit or no? I just can do it here.
Oh, it's like tights. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how you call it in English.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tights.
When was the last time you cried?
Yesterday. Yeah, I cry a lot. I cry a lot as a self-liberating act, actually. But I was crying because I felt sad. It happens quite a lot in these times. I feel really overwhelmed by a flood of emotions and of different nature. And I cry and laugh at the same time, and it's really, really liberating. It's like taking a bath. Yeah, it's not like taking a bath. I mean, it's much stronger, but
Take down your hair.
yeah. I might have my hair like doing a strange, yeah. Ah, okay. They are all
It's beautiful.
full of knots. I don't know how to say it.
Whatever it is, I'll take it.
Yeah, my hair is a big part of myself, really.
What do you mean by that?
I've committed myself to take care of them as a part of my strength and the story of my life, and because I don't cut them, my hair kind of carries the pain I've been living and all the beautiful things I've been through. If I think about my hair like this long or this long, I mean, it's weird talking about it, but it has really grown like a tree, you know what I mean? Like the leaves of a tree. It's just, I just think immediately about that, a tree. You know, because the hair are in reality the dead part of the living hair. You know that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the scientific name, but this is just dead, but so alive at the same time. So the real stuff is growing inside of you, and it just dies in a so beautiful way that it's so poetic and an emblem of life. And yeah.
Can you take off your tights?
Yeah.
So when do you feel the most vulnerable?
I think I feel the most vulnerable, sorry for my English, when I show others my body, I should say. But not in particular in this kind of interview, but also like
Romantic.
yeah, and exposing my body in a way, in a moment in which I don't feel comfortable too, because I'm a person who really covers herself, but not for fear anymore, but for will, for a sense of style, for the influences of the places where I've grown. And for me, uncovering myself might be really powerful in a bad or a good way. So it's a really tiny balance. And yeah, it's a big theme.
Is what you're saying that you're not in a place anymore where you cover your body
Out of fear.
because you don't accept your body?
No, exactly. It's not out of fear that I cover my body, it's out of me, myself. It wouldn't be me if I dressed in another way, and the way I dress and express myself is by covering my body, but not because I'm covering it. It's because I like to dress that way. But of course, I should point out that the places where I lived, which is Middle Eastern countries and Muslim countries, has really impacted me, because I felt really connected to the cultures and people where I grew up with. It was never a problem for me covering myself. So when I came to Europe, and it became an issue, you know, and it became normal for me to have to undress or wear small shirts or dresses, and it was kind of the opposite evolution or growth or of a Western girl, if I can say so.
Yeah, totally. That's fascinating that it was natural. Like for you, it was to be yourself. You were in the natural place. And then when you came to Italy or you came to Western.
Yeah, exactly. I never felt repressed. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much emphasis on skin. I mean, it's something I really relate to that because I dress very covered up, and it's fully a style thing. Like I don't feel myself at all like in skimpy clothes. Like I think someone could walk down the street with no clothes on and be perfectly fine and free if that's who they felt they wanted.
Yeah.
No judgment. It's just that I totally get what you're saying. It's like, it's like to dress covered up in our society is like supposedly like this is supposedly not sexual, that you don't feel you're sensual.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel sensual and sexual. It doesn't change how I feel at all.
Absolutely agree. And that's actually one of the main points why I dress this way, is that I don't want, especially here where I live in Southern Europe, it's a really patriarchal society, and men stare at women like in a normal base, because they feel like it's normal for them, and catcall, blah blah blah. So I don't like to give them the permission to harm me, to become their object of desire. So it's a mix of things that lead me to dress in a certain way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Can you take off your slip? You found a bra.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Is that a cute bathing suit bottom too?
Yeah, it's a bathing suit. Yeah, because I loved it because it's colorful. And so I didn't want to put some white or black, yeah. I just, you can really see that it's a bathing suit.
Oh, it's adorable. I just know that you said you were maybe going to wear a bathing suit on top. So,
Yeah. I just did the opposite.
when do you feel the most beautiful?
Um, Let me really think about it. Because there are many moments in which I feel beautiful. And I'm grateful for that. And I've been working for that. I think when I'm loved, because it reminds me when I'm loved and I watch at myself on the mirror being loved by myself. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, and that it's a journey. It's a journey. It's a journey. You can wake up one day and just feel horrible and hating yourself. And then there are days in which it's a decision. You decide you have enough, you decide you are enough, you own enough, and you just let yourself breathe and being loved by yourself, your own self, if that makes sense. It's just destroying all the thoughts that you have, negative thoughts that you have inside your brain, and just go with your flow and your body. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
It is a decision. I think it is a struggle and a journey, and it is a decision.
yeah.
So it's like it goes back to what you were saying when you decided to not follow the queen bee.
Yeah, it just my mind clicked for no immediate reason, it just happened. And it's the epiphany, the moment of realization, and it's the same thing with the acceptance and the love for your body, because you just, again, we accept also, we expect for ourselves the extraordinary. So I think confidence comes from setting lower and higher standards for ourselves. You know what I mean? Lower in regards of the symbols and the models we've grown to follow up with, and higher because we are much more than that. And yeah, it's just it.
Yeah, just little by little to just defy the outside expectations that have made us feel like we need to shrink.
Yeah, and you will never feel, believe me, you will never feel beautiful enough, intelligent enough, even if you have the perfect features and Q and IQ. It's when you realize that, it's so, you feel lost, because you come to a point when you think you should feel happy, but you don't. And that's the turning point, because you really realize you should work on yourself, like really work on yourself, and not projecting the image of another on your body. Yeah.
Totally. So makeup girls?
Yeah. I know you don't have a makeup. Maybe it'd be kind of funny if she goes and gets it.
You can go get your
You can go do it in the bathroom and then come back.
Okay, I will put some soap and okay.
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 Here I am.
Thank you.
Last question.
The last question, why? Why in your body, in your skin, in your journey, Why is it a good place to be?
Because it's the place I've been gifted from my mother and my ancestor to live in. So, and I could not change it even if I would. And so it's better for me if I love it, because otherwise it's gonna be a total madness. As we said before, it's a gift you've been gifted with, and that's the reason, really, for me.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Thank you so much for this. And how do you feel right now? How do you feel?
I feel washed. Can you say this?
Like cleansed, like.
Yeah. Sorry, I feel cleansed. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, girls. I don't know what to say. It's just, it's so beautiful.
So I just want to say a really, really deep and profound thanks to everyone for tuning into this episode and for coming with us on this journey of doing what's underneath during this intense moment in all of our lives, and for giving, for supporting us in continuing this mission of self-acceptance and in this way, and for just being there for this journey, and helping us to feel like we're supported in continuing something that is so significant to all of us, and to Maria and to Lily and I, and to this whole community. So we're just, we're deeply appreciative to all of you
And for being part of this more raw, unedited version of the interviews, which normally we edit, and so it's cool to let you in on it. I hope you're enjoying being part of the whole process, and if any of you have been moved by this and are interested in possibly sharing your story and being one of our subjects in one of these interviews, the instructions for how you can submit yourself as part of our open call are in the description below. And yeah, just if you want to keep watching these and be notified about when they're coming out, the next one's coming out, you can please subscribe to our channel. I think it's over there on the screen right now, and don't forget to ring the bell, which is what will notify you about when there's a new episode. And follow us on Instagram at StyleLikeU, and that's where you'll be the first to know about everything that we're doing. So thank you again, and can't wait to see you at the next one.
Love to you all.